South Korea's embattled leader Park Geun-hye has stepped aside after Parliament voted to impeach her. She told her cabinet she accepts the decision but denies any wrongdoing. As celebratory rallies are held all over the country, politicians warn of an increased security threat from neighbouring North Korea. Our Asia correspondent, Katrina is in Seoul.
That's right, Leland. There are now currently some concerns about regional stability here in North Asia after South Korea's parliament yesterday voted to pass a motion to impeach the President Park Geun-hye. Now, the Prime Minister will take her place until it's decided whether that motion is valid. And until then, his powers are undefined. China and Japan have both said that they will continue to maintain relationships with South Korea, but they're both quite eager for stability to return to the country.
They've lost their leader, but this is not a country in mourning. As protests become rallies, collective rage has turned to hope that a new leader will steer South Korea in a new direction.
박근혜 정부가 하지 못한 그 복지 혜택 같은 거를 지키지 못한 거를 지켜주시는 대통령님이 나오셨어요.
그냥 제대로 국민을 위해서.
일단 국민들의 이야기를 가장 잘 들어주는 대통령 그 정부가 들어섰으면.
The streets of Seoul pulse with optimism, but there are fears an empty chair could be a wide target.
Of course, South Koreans are concerned about security and potential threats when it comes to North Korea, but the people's main concern is President Park's wrongdoings.
The Constitutional Court has close to 6 months to uphold Parliament's impeachment decision or vote to reinstate the fallen president. The Prime Minister has assumed Park's post with apparent reluctance, as he too keeps his eyes trained north.
빈틈도 없도록 굳건한 안보 태세를.
Above all, I hope that our military firmly establishes a watertight national security posture and full readiness posture to immediately respond to any possible provocations by North Korea at any time.
Major allies, including the US, have pledged support in the leadership transition.
We're going to continue to meet all of our alliance commitments, especially with respect to defending against the threats we've seen emanating from North Korea.
More than a week after President Park deferred a future to Parliament, the result left little margin for doubt. In the end, more than 2/3 voted her out, including 60 of her own party members. In total, there were 234 which voted for her impeachment and only 56 which voted to keep her in.
다시 한번 사죄드립니다.
We will recast at the level of our citizens with attitude that we need to solve problems we created by ourselves.
Many of those rallying may remember similar euphoria 4 years ago, then welcoming their first female president.
Impeachment is not an end, but a new start. We want an immediate resignation and a clean-up of deep-rooted evil that could spread even further.
If South Koreans have lost trust, it seems they haven't lost faith in the highest office.
President Park has always been seen as quite an isolated and lonely figure. She's not married and doesn't have any children, and indeed, during her presidential campaign in 2012, she sold herself as a sort of Queen Elizabeth I, only married to her country. But now it seems very unsure whether she has any political future at all.
Katrina, as the country has now been thrown into uncertainty, what assurances is the government offering the people?
Well, Leland, it comes at a time when the South Korean economy itself is struggling. It has had some very low growth for this year. So the government has really come out and said, look, South Korea is still very much open for business, trying to reassure people that things are under control. And also they want to reassure the people that now they are listening, since the big charge from the people with President Park was that she wasn't sincerely doing the will of the South Korean people. So that really is the message they're trying to get across now.
Katrina, thank you very much. And she was speaking to us from Seoul.